The clean feed go first. We will get to you. Still photographers only. Please, videographers, move off to the side in the back. We will get you next. Okay, photographers, please move to the back. Photographers, please move to the back. Videographers only. Photographers, please depart. Videographers only. Okay, please clear the front of the room so we can get a clear shot for the people in the back, just with Brian. Please, everybody depart the front of the room for a second. Please depart the front of the room. Photographers, videographers, please stand off to the side. Okay, photographers back up. Photographers only with Coach Kelly. Still photographers with Coach Kelly. Okay, videographers. Okay, that concludes the photo and video sessions. We'll ask Coach Kelly to come on over and begin the Q&As. Please, photographers and videographers, back to the room, please.
Only
Videographers, please move to the back of the room or off to the side. Okay, hands up, and we'll get started with questions for Coach Kelly. Hands up. Any questions for Coach Kelly?
Coach, on your left, Greg Logan of Newsday. There have been times this year when you pulled Golson out of games that he started. Can you describe his development so far this year? And Coach Saban just said he's underrated as a passer. What do you say?
Well, I think it certainly have been a year of development for him, as a freshman quarterback coming in and playing, for the first time against very good competition. He had his ups and downs. The thing I love about Everett is that, through the adversity, he has grown. We certainly wouldn't be here without him. And, this long layoff is talked about relative to the process for your football team and preparing them. But I will tell you, there probably is only one player that has benefited as much with this time off, and that's Everett Golson. He's gotten an opportunity for 3.5 weeks to continue to grow. So, he's overcome adversity, and he's put himself in a position now that everybody trusts that he'll lead this football team.
Eric Hansen, South Bend Tribune. Brian, this team seems to be one that a lot of the players from the past, coaches from the past, have really embraced. Can you talk about the Notre Dame family kind of coming back together and your experience with that?
Well, I think it's important for our program to, get back to this point where we bring everybody back in the fold, so to speak. So I think, not only winning football games, but getting this program back into the conversation relative to national championships has brought everybody closer, as well as the way this football team's constructed. And I know Nick has talked about it too. It's a little bit old-fashioned in a sense that this is about the big fellas up front. It's not about the crazy receiving numbers or passing yards or rushing yards. This is about the big fellas, and this game will be decided unquestionably up front.
Coach, Noah Kozlov, Sport. Go back to your first national championship game appearance back in 01. What was it like the night before that game in 01 and then 02 and 03? And then what do you have planned for tonight? And what were you personally feeling back then?
I think more than anything else, it's the anticipation of the game, because there's such a lead up for this one, with all of the media attention, where at Grand Valley State, we were staying at the Best Western, and I don't know anybody knew where we were. So it was just another game. It was the championship game, but it certainly doesn't have the same kind of feel. So when you're in a playoff structure, like we were at Grand Valley State playing for a national championship, it's the next game. It's the third and fourth game in a row, where this, you have such a layoff, so it's a totally different feeling. This one is more, you're a little bit more anxious because you want to see your team play again. It's been such a long time, whereas when you're in a playoff structure, you know what you're going to get from your team because you've been playing week after week.
Brian, Len Robbins, New York Post. When you stand before your team tomorrow night, how much of what you say will be based in that moment and what you see in their eyes, and how much of it is a message that you've already thought through?
It's generally been 80% on what I feel at the moment, but I always have something that's going to be applicable to that week. And so certainly there'll be a little bit of a decision that's already been made as to what theme I want to get out there. But a lot of it has always been about the moment and getting a look at them, like you said, Len, and getting a sense and feel for where they are at that moment.
Brian, it's Armin Katayan here, CBS News.
Yeah.
Much has been made of the process at Alabama. Can you explain your philosophy in building an organization, what the planks are of the program?
Well, I think it starts with, setting a clear goal for the program. Really, what is it? Are we here to, get to a bowl game, or are we here to win national championships? And so the charge immediately was to play for championships and win a national championship. So I think setting the bar. And then I really think it's about winning and winning in everything that you do. So if there's a cornerstone, if I asked everybody out here, what do you know about winning, most would understand that you put more points on the board. There's so much more to it than that. It's morale. It's the right people. It's creating an atmosphere where when your players come to the football building, they enjoy being there. So I think if I would probably say one thing, it's about setting the bar and what that expectation is, win a national championship, and then create a winning atmosphere on a day-to-day basis.
Brian Denistad, CBSSports.com. Win or lose tomorrow night, the first question or soon is going to be, can Notre Dame keep doing this year after year, compete for championships? What kind of things, in your opinion, are in place for that to happen?
Playing in this game is an incredible springboard into the next season because, as I just mentioned to Armin, you set a goal, you set a bar. They've already been here. You come back the next year, it's unacceptable for a standard to be any less than being back here again. So it's an incredible springboard. When I was, playing for championships at the Division II level, it just changes everything when you walk into that building on a day-to-day basis. Everybody's playing for championships. So this will be a great springboard in making sure that we get back to this game.
Brian, Jim Johnson, back here in the back. Talk about, two-part question, talk about the challenge it is to balance your personal life at home with being a head coach during the national championship right now. And second part, talk about Manti Te'o and his leadership role with the team.
Well, I think every football coach, every CEO, everybody that puts in the time that we put in, about 80 hours a week, has to deal with the balance. And quite frankly, I don't think you ever get it right to the point where you feel like you're doing a great job with it. But you try to make sure that the time that you do have is quality time. So the balance to me is that time that you do have with your family, include them or do the best you can. Don't we try to do that, Baki? My wife's here, so she gets to sign off on most of this stuff. So it's important that what you do is include your family in what you do. And I think that's probably the best way to try to find a balance. Manti Te'o, what he's done for us off the field is probably as important as what he's done on the field. He's gotten incredible accolades and awards for what he's done on the field, but his leadership was, in a large degree, why we're here as well. And, look, each year you graduate seniors, okay, and you come back with a new football team every year. We'll be ranked high after, this game, and next year we'll have high expectations. But you really don't know because you have new leaders stepping up, and we didn't know what we had with Manti off the field yet. And that's why, if there's any surprise as to why we're here, it's because of the great leadership that we got from him and our other seniors. And we hope that this experience and seeing how important it is to have that has helped shape the next group of leaders that we'll have next year.
Coach Craig Barnes, a lot's been made about your team over the years.
I'm sorry, I don't know
here,
where you
sir.
are. Thank you.
A lot's been made about your team over the season, about its defense and how you felt you had to build a defense to have a championship opportunity. Tomorrow night, with the focus being on the defense, isn't it likely, or hasn't it been the case in a lot of games of this magnitude, that it'll be how your offense performs really that decides whether you win the game or not?
I think I think the tenets of winning championships, you have to be at least balanced in all those phases. I believe that the quarterbacks will be important in the game. There's no question that somebody's got to have to put some points on the board. I really think it's about who controls the line of scrimmage again. People were talking about how do you bring down Lacey, how do you bring down those backs. You don't. If there's big holes, I don't know you guys, we ain't tackling them. We're not going to get them on the ground. So we got to make sure that we don't have big creases so we can get them moving east and west and get them on the ground. So I still think this game is going to be decided by what happens up front.
Brian, down to your left, Kevin Skarbinski with the Alabama Media Group. How much of a compliment is it for someone to say they see a lot of Nick Saban in you?
Well, Nick obviously has the reputation of being a great program builder. He's defined himself as only a few coaches that have won the championships that he has. So, I take that as a great personal compliment as it relates to constructing football programs and putting winning football teams on the field. I would take that moniker anytime.
Brian Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman. I don't know if you believe in the luck of the Irish and the close victories y'all had this year, but do you believe in teams of destiny, things like that?
Honestly, I don't. I think you get what you deserve. We had some close games this year, but to win those close games versus losing those close games, you have to have more than just luck. You have to have a will, a determination. You have to have a confidence. And I believe that all of those things have to be built. Every one of those words that I just used have to take place within the workings of your program. So if it's destiny, and that would be fine with me. I have not built any programs based upon we're going to get good luck or we're a team of destiny.
Brian, Gary Shelton, Tampa Bay Times. There was an impression that you guys might, early in the year, might be a year away. What accelerated the growth of this program?
I think a couple things. One, an outstanding group of seniors that really helped transform our program from one where we thought we could do it to we're going to do it. We were moving towards that confidence level as a football team that they thought they could do it. I think this year, because of the leadership that we got, the belief got stronger. I think some key plays and key games put that over the top as well. So as you're moving in the right direction, which you've already said that, hey, maybe you're a year away. I think what accelerated that was a group of seniors and a leadership group, and then winning some games that really cemented that confidence in the group.
Coach Kirk McNair, Bama Magazine. I think everyone in this room has asked or answered the question this week, how's the game going to go? Do you think of when you're in prior to a big game, how that game might go, and are you usually right?
Well, I think the way you manage the game is something that goes into how the game's going to be played. For example, if we go in there saying, listen, we've got to outscore Alabama, the game will take that flavor. You're going to throw the ball around. There's going to be some turnovers. Maybe there's going to be some big plays. That's not how we've constructed this team, and that's not how we've managed the game. So I think going into the game, people can surmise the way this thing's going to play out. We want to make sure that we get this thing in the fourth quarter and find a way to win the game. And that's how the game will be managed, just like the other 12 games that we played.
Coach Dan Newthman from USA Today Sports. I asked Coach Saban the same question, but there's a number of players in this game from comfortable family backgrounds, and there's a number from meager family backgrounds. The NCAA is talking continually about the issue of stipends for college athletes, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on that issue and your position on that issue. Well,
you're certainly right that the makeup of a football team is certainly from different socioeconomic groups. There's great diversity. But I still think the overriding factor here is that these young men put in so much time with being a student and then their responsibilities playing the sport that they don't have an opportunity, to make any money at all, to get a part-time job. I know when I played, I worked in security and I wash dishes, anything that I could do to put a little money in my pocket so I could go to the movies or get a pizza. That's really what we're talking. We're not talking about paying players. We're talking about let them be college students. And a stipend to me makes total sense in allowing them, because of all the time that they put in. And people would say, well, they get their scholarship. We understand that. But, going out on the weekend, I want them to be college kids. And a stipend will continue to allow them to be college kids. That's my opinion.
Coach, Don Calser with the Alabama Media Group. Was I imagining something yesterday, or did I really hear you say that the team that wins tomorrow night might be the one that commits the most turnovers?
No, I said that the team that makes the most mistakes, and what I meant by that is that you have to be aggressive in this game. If you're going to sit back and hope that it's going to come your way, you're going to miss. So my point was, and John Wooden has made this quote to be part of his philosophy as well, and I stole it from him, and I've used it quite a few times with our football team. This is one of those games where you have to be aggressive, and you're going to make a mistake. And I'm not talking about catastrophic mistakes, throwing picks for touchdowns, but you may make a mistake here. As long as you know that you're playing hard and aggressive, that's the kind of mentality, and that's kind of the background to that quote that I used.
Coach, Brett Hudson, 90.7 WVUA. You mentioned earlier with the acceleration of the program, the 1 year away thing, how key plays and key games helped with that. Looking back on it, is there one or two games that you would attribute that to? Like, what specific game was it?
I don't know if there was one particular game. I think they're all, they all build to getting your football team believing that no matter the circumstances, they're going to find a way to win. But I think it's easy to point out the goal line stand against Stanford. I think it's easy to point out, coming back from down 14 points in the fourth quarter against Pittsburgh, having taken your starter out and reinserting your starter, and Everett Golson, coming in and maturing. I think all those pieces come together that gets you to a point where you're playing for the national championship. So I think a couple of those things certainly played a large role in that belief that no matter what the circumstances, they were going to find a way to win.
Any final questions? Get your hands up. Final questions.
Coach, Rebecca Harlow, NBC Sports. Nick Saban talked about this psychological disposition and how that's going to be key to this game, and you just kind of touched on it a little bit here, but can you define what the psychological disposition is for Notre Dame football, and how confident are you with your team heading into the game?
Fighting Irish. Fighting Irish, that's who we are. That's how we've constructed how we want our guys to play. We're going to battle you. First time our back has a chance, he better lower his shoulder and run through a tackle. You better finish off tackles. Play tough and physical. We want that kind of demeanor. So our guys understand how I want them to play the game. That's why we're here. We tried to play the game this way the first couple of years. We just couldn't quite get there. They play the game like Fighting Irish, and that's how we want to play the game tomorrow.
Coach, here in the middle, Mike Griffith with the MLive Media Group. I'm wondering, in your time in Michigan and Coach Saban's time in Michigan, did your paths ever cross at conventions, clinics, public appearances, anything like that?
Public appearances for Nick?
Nice.
Nick Saban, I got a chance to know him when he was at Toledo, as a very short stint at Toledo, but I got a chance to know him through a couple of camps that I worked at, and got to know him better when he was at Michigan State, and have a great deal of respect for him, and followed his career, his path, and certainly when we see each other today, we're reminded about where we started. We both started in the Mid-American Conference, and so a lot of the times that we talk about the times back in Ohio and Michigan.
Coach George Richards, the Miami Herald, over to you, right. Alabama's been on this stage before, obviously playing in this game. Your guys, though, are on national TV all the time. There's so much pressure at Notre Dame. Do you feel confident that your guys aren't going to feel any stage fright, that kind of thing, because of the pressure?
They'll be a little nervous coming out, no question. The moment, the anticipation, just the build up to playing in the game. But once the game starts, they'll be fine. They enjoy the attention. That's why they go to Notre Dame. They know that they're going to get a chance to play on national television in front of large crowds. So there'll be a little bit of nervousness that will go along with the start of the game. But they've handled this whole process very well, and I expect that to continue tomorrow.
We need a mic over here.
Coach, way in the back. Coach Saban was just asked if he's sick of all the media opportunities this week. How about you?
It hasn't been bad at all. I think the bowl games, sometimes there's a lot more that you have relative to, joint ventures together with the teams, and, our players will be at the Children's Hospital today. But really, the way the national championship game is set up, a lot of that media is done prior to getting here. A lot of that media work for us was done before we even got on the plane. So it's been really good. Our team has been able to focus on practice and enjoying being here. But no, I would say that the schedule's been really smooth.
Final question.
Coach, I'm Ken Rogers with the Dothan Eagle. You talked about how being in this game really raises the standard, raises the bar for your program. I think everybody who's been in this game has probably felt the same way. But nobody in the BCS era has been able to repeat a BCS championship. Alabama's going for that. Why have they, in your opinion, why have they been able to kind of have this run that they've been on?
It starts with Coach Saban and the consistency of his, philosophy and approach. You know what you're going to get from him every single day. You're going to get a disciplined program both on and off the field. You're going to get great coaching, great teaching, and you're going to get a football team that knows how to play the game. And it starts with Coach Saban and his consistency of approach and the way he goes about doing his job on a day-to-day basis. So, I think we all try to do the same things. He's added, obviously, great recruiting to that as well. And again, created expectations, just like we need to do the same thing at Notre Dame, that they're going to play in this game every year.
Thank you, Coach.